Hey there, my name is Trent. I'm the founder of Flowster, and I'm going to give you a very quick demo of our software. Before we dive into the software itself, I want to very quickly make sure that you understand a concept that is core to Flowster. So in Flowster, we are process management software. So what does that mean? It is unlike project management software where you're doing kind of like different things for clients and it changes from time to time. Processes are known procedures in advance that you need to do over and over and over again. Could be training employees, could be most anything you'd like. I'll give you some examples here in just a moment, but that's really what the software is designed for. So let's use the example of a podcast. Let's say that a podcast, you have multiple episodes, and every time you do a podcast, there is going to be, in our case, there's like 125 steps per episode that needs to get done every single time. So we have a process template for a podcast. And then every single time we put a new episode into production, we create a workflow that is based upon that process template and for every single episode. So this could be episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. So the reason this is important for you to understand is this is where Flowster really shines. For all of your repetitive processes, you'll only ever have one template for a blog post, template for keyword research, template for a podcast, template for a YouTube video, template for optimizing an ad campaign, template for creating an ad campaign. You get the idea. You could have lots and lots of templates, and I'll show you how to tap into our template library in a moment so you don't have to create these from scratch. So one template and then multiple up to as many as you like workflows per template. And a little later in my demo, you're going to see why this relationship between processes and workflows is absolutely golden with respect to making sure that your company is run efficiently and that you can delegate work to multiple people on your team and they can have different deadlines and so forth and so on. So with that said, let us dive into the actual software and show you around. So right now we are on what we call our library page. And you'll notice here on the left, we have this little slider, enable full version. And a bunch more stuff shows up when you enable full version, predominantly search filters and so forth and so on. So if you've logged into Flowster and you don't see this stuff, it's because you need to enable the full version. We just, for new users, we have a simplified version, so there's not too many things that you have to learn all at one time. So let's start off with templates. Now you can definitely create a new template, which I'll show you how to do in a little later in this. However, one of the beauties of Flowster is in our template marketplace, there are literally, now you don't see them all here because I'm actually doing this demo in our staging environment, but there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these templates, the vast majority of which are free, that you can simply go and add right into your account so that you don't have to create them from scratch. So let's look at how to build an Instagram following. Okay, so I want to get that one. View cart. You can see it's free. I hit checkout and voila, it is now in my library as a template for me to use. So when you click on it, you're given the choice of, hey, do you want to edit this template? Or do you want to create a new workflow from this template? So we're going to create a new workflow from the template. We're going to just leave the standard name. We can give it a due date. We'll just say it's due tomorrow, and we'll assign it to myself. And we're going to go ahead and create that workflow. So now if you had assigned this workflow to somebody on your team or even to yourself, they're going to get a notification. They're going to get an email notification, so forth and so on, so that they know they have work to do. The other thing that you'll see is if you look at their calendar, and you can look at anyone's calendar that you like, you'll see that that template is, you remember I mentioned that it was going to be due on the 11th. Now I can change the due date by grabbing these little dots here and dragging it around if I would like, or I can just click on it and I can go ahead and start doing the work. All right, so once you're logged into the template, it's basically a simple checklist format. Here on the left-hand portion of the screen are all of the steps that need to be done. And then you'll see as we click through those steps, all the instructions for each step. So this one is define your target audience. So here's all the instructions for defining your target audience. You can input information. If you want to comment someone else on your team, you can mention them, and you can select them, and you can leave them a comment. They'll get a notification of that comment, and you can have a dialogue going right back and forth about this step of the template if you would like to do so. Once you've completed that step, you're going to hit check. But if there's a mandatory field, in this case there is, so we'll just put audience. So now the field is required, so I can complete this step. You can click it over here, or you can put a little tick box over there if you like. So we'll complete the credits. So monitor industry and social conversations, listen to social conversations, blah, blah, blah. Here's some useful tools. Enter some topics below. So you can put whatever data you would like in here, topic, topic, topic. And then you can enter some follow responses. So responses, you get the idea. You simply work your way through following the instructions step by step by step. And then when you're done, the system will archive the workflow. Now, if you are working your way through and you're a power user, what's called an administrator or a member, you actually can also update these templates on the fly. Whereas if you are what we call a guest, that means that you can't have the ability to update them. You can simply do the work that has been assigned to you. Now, here's why I want to show you this edit feature, because it's really, really important. Do you remember I said previously that you could have one process template and multiple workflows? Why is that such a big deal? So let's assume that we had, say, 3 or 4 or 5 workflows that are based on this template. So we want to go in, we're going to edit the template. Now we've realized our process has changed a little bit. We want to make some changes. So we're just going to go ahead and we're going to add we'll add a image. And so we'll choose an image here from my drive. There we go. That one will do. Any old random image that just happens to be lying around. So there's the image. And so now there's this little, what I call the magic button over here, and it says, so this is saved automatically, by the way. You don't have to click a save button. But this button over here says update active workflows. And if you forget to click this button, no problem. The Flowster will catch it for you when it will ask you if you want to update the workflow when you go to it. But let me show you what happens. So we click this button and it says, hey, there's one active workflow associated with this template. Do you want to update it based upon the template changes? Now, if you had 10 or 5 or 15, this is a really, really powerful feature, because without this feature, you would literally have to go and make this change 10 different times. And that is why I call this the magic button. What this allows you to do is make sure that everyone in your organization is always working on the very latest version of your process template, even though the workflows may have been created before more recent changes to the process template. So hopefully that makes sense. So I'm going to say, yes, I want to update the active workflow. And now I am back into workflow mode. And you can see there's my image that we inserted has been added to the workflow. So I'd simply continue to work my way through. This particular workflow has all sorts of mandatory fields that can be turned on or off. So that's why I have to keep putting information in to go and say that I am working my way through and I've got it done. So that is a very quick overview of the template and workflow aspect of Flowster. And I want to show you a couple of other really important features. So we did talk about the calendar earlier on. The calendar is a really great way of seeing what work has been assigned to you or others, because you can view other people's calendar. And it's also a really great way of figuring out if you are ahead of schedule or behind schedule. So for example, we're recording this on August 10th. If you saw that this workflow here was back on August 2nd, well, as the manager of me, I would say, hey, you've got some work that's behind schedule. So it's a very easy way visually to be able to find if work is behind schedule or not. Now, there are other ways you can do that. So you can go back to the library and you can say, hey, show me all the templates that are active or archived or disabled. Show workflows that are active, not started, in progress. So when you fiddle with these filters, the information that's presented to you on this library screen will change to match those particular filters. So now let's say that you've got, let's see if we can just quickly, let's copy template. I want to create a couple of templates here. So now we've got two. You can also organize. So over time, just like Google Drive, when you have lots and lots of files, you can organize them in folders. Flowster is exactly the same as that. So you could create a folder. We'll just call it demo folder. You could give it a color. You can then add it, and your folder is going to show up here. And now you can say, well, I want to move this one into the demo folder. So you can create whatever structure you would like, whatever folders, and you can have folders within folders. It's literally exactly like Google Drive. So you can organize all of your templates however you would like to do so. Of course, you can also just type something into search. So if I type Instagram, anything with Instagram in the name would show up. So that's a super fast way to find your templates. Okay, a couple of other important things to understand. So how do you create these workflows and assign them to other people? You have a couple of different ways that you can do that. You could go directly to the template, and you can open up the template. And when you click on the name, Flowster will ask you, do you want to create a workflow from the template? And again, I showed you that a little earlier. You can do that. That's one way of doing it. Or you can go down here and you can hit plus workflow. You can choose whatever template you would like. You can give it a due date. You can choose who you're going to assign it to, and then you can create that workflow. This here will just be a list of recent templates that you've been using. And this here is a list of any tasks, which is one step of a template or a workflow that has been assigned to you or someone else. And again, there's all sorts of these very powerful search features over here on the left. The next thing I want to show you is how to schedule and view recurring workflows. So let's say that you have something that you want to have done every Monday or every Wednesday or every month or every quarter. It's a recurring process that needs to happen. So you can simply go view as and choose schedule. And there are no scheduled workflows at this point in time. Okay, cool. So we don't have any. So how would you go ahead and do that? So if we go back to our directory and then we pick, let's say this was something that we wanted to do every single Monday. So we're going to edit the template and we're going to click on the little clock icon right here, schedule workflow. So we're just going to put demo schedule workflow. I will assign it to me. And then I want this workflow to be due, say, 2 days after it has been assigned. You could pick whatever you want, months, hours, minutes, what have you. And you choose whatever time zone you're in. We can just leave it as it is right now. And then date and time. So let's just say we want it to start the first assignment to be, say, Monday at 1 p.m. Okay, so there we go. Next step. And do we want this to be repeat? Yes, we do. So we want this to repeat, say, every month as an example. And we want it to continue forever, schedule workflow. So now when we go back to our library and we look at schedule, you can see we've got a workflow scheduled for how to build an Instagram. It's based upon this template, how to build an Instagram following, and it is scheduled to happen on an ongoing basis. Now, if you needed to change that schedule, you can do that. If you want to delete that schedule, you can do that as well. All right, so that's it for a very high-level overview of the Flowster process management software. If you would like to get a deeper dive on any of the features, be sure and check out our YouTube channel, as we have a lot more videos there that go much deeper into specific features and functions of the software. Thanks very much for tuning in. Have a great day. Bye-bye.